Hello, my name is Anthony Wall. Let this be a piece and have people on their Facebook page and people associated with like a Joshua Schumacher, with child abusers leading to kids years apart. His educators and people with private schools who have roles with predicate access with people that didn't even have classes together at public schools. And there are increasingly times use slash less of that as their roles with World Trade Center predicate acts with news at the same time. And interbranch forging and switching names and sequences and such interstates with names on all sides of criminal civil news, civil cases, and news at the same time. They're also lying about the outcomes of legal cases as collusion as with all kinds of natures of organized crimes, crime figures, but crime bodies, like criminal enterprises themselves, and terrorists, like with the World Trade Center attack. um, Names at the World Trade Center next to it, including the court next to it, Ninth Circuit Court in Manhattan, right before the attack, in long term and short term. They had collusion, slash us, with all those countries involved, and with the attackers that were effectively used to pull off effective remote uses, criminally foreign influence, slash hyper criminally foreign influence of America's name and of Saudi Arabia's name. How this is discernible is relative to their reading, to their voices for the sciences through the names of the people and the beginning of the old religious books too that people don't even know about in the natures of the debate regarding such, where it says only defend right here at the beginning of the Old Testament. It says only defend right here, only. And the part that comes before, where the names of the people of the sciences will come together, and the part that comes before it, and that's before the part with the tree of life and the tree of knowledge of the good and evil, and Adam and Eve and their generation. And the same thing with the Quran has a part that says all that matters. As if one is honest about what they're going to call the identity of all self-existent. My translation. And it says even qualifies for individual not to pray in a mosque for the slightest reason. So we have the experts in the mean and the value of expertise being and having been used remotely criminally for an influence from off the locations associated with experts. Where and how collusion slash S at all locations slash S that no one wants. Everywhere the human species body of individual bodies had and has a body. Where and how it's manifest with black people's white bodies having been left out from the subject of slavery. What caused slavery is how a breaching method reassigned communications by black people's whites of eyes. All exceptions in exception nature it employed to be received as entertaining as and through systems tactical natures, which shows us the difference between primitive and citizen natures of positive, like truths or facts, or peace itself. Yeah, but this is only capable of being because it's all it's been known and positive of it have been self-valuable to other things other than ourselves. Since the ancient times at A through Z. We have been A through Z systems tactical area. So there are not voices capable of speaking properly for how we are values plus value progression and qualitative diffusion with market and with it applied to the torture, extortion, factory nature slavery method. You don't leave out how the breaching method also forced trick persuaded only allow criminal insidious natures of means to cause positive value expression acts and natures relative to the negative value nature expressions acts and natures it caused for its roles with internationally monitored conversations that were involved here and at the countries they represent. You know, mocking their own roles, divided, and their and roles with torture, extortion, slavery. Only capable of being where and how the identities of integrity have been shown to defend that and to speak. You guys are offensively incapable of defending that and of not affording to be self-valued predators, right where and how little kids have means to discern. That predicate actually facts preaching method, sickly distinctly against Native Americans, and many Americans have tried to voice it, how we could discern. Sickly distinctly, the Native Americans were prevented and are prevented their means and actual might, let alone with our help, as the rest of human species bodies of individual bodies with the same plan, led by the identity of hyper invisible but still discernible. That hypernated can't help it. Because when we try to be others, we get to entertain other systems. But it demonstrates with negative value nature progressions, act nature, acts like Frank acts with facts. I'm not even a lawyer. They have had the criminal enterprises grouped wrong because they had collusion slash F, blaming other things other than themselves. With that breaching methods, predicate acts with facts with black people's white survival series. It's clearer than day. Then he pray. Vaccine. So I don't know this Aaron Latte. I'm not saying he's related to a Joe DeMoro, but there's a Joe DeMoro, a John DeMoro, and, and they have a Paul DeMoro involved with them. Only conversation I ever had with Paul DeMoro was over the phone. He's involved with DeMoro's Market, where it is now at Rocky Hill, and where it was in Hartford, with foreign and domestic medical families, and ones with badges, and family members of judges and prosecutors who have been identity theft, fraud, slanders with their educators, putting fake things in databases, acting tied to break their facts, whole methods too, and recorded, increasingly their roles with Joe DeMoro and others confessed reported that foreign mayors are involved with them. And little kids when I was a kid, and then as an adult, well, the morals are increasingly brought up with other people's confessions. Has something to do with their roles with home breakings in my area at different times in the long past grow up and their roles with it, and different people with the Heather Hansen. I don't think Joe DeMoro was at each of the mother's room, and a bunch of her boyfriends are involved with her educated, forced, stretched her, persuaded her to collusion slash SFB. I never had a class with her. Mr. Neville made a fake exception. They have something to do with a omni plate associated with which is a guy who fought false battle for who I fought when he was an amateur. He took Cardona. I never was in a gym with the people pouring Cardona at the same time. In other words, I can't get anyone onto paper. You guys are little coward punks. You fake what people say when they mention predicate acts. You change our words. And with child abusers, these are people involved with child abusers, leaders of the kids, whiting forensics, and Connecticut has San Diego campuses and intelligence involved also with a prison there, involved with people with the name Cintron, Puerto Rico, involved with the police chief Cintron, involved with Court of Quebec, demonstrated by his and by himself. I never had a full conversation with him and his police. They pretended I had conversations at the police station as a kid. And I was an adult. And in other words, they put me in. They're forging names of doctors too, intercities with the various police departments and police forms associated with retired police chiefs from Wethersfield, with a Collow House and Smith House, with a whole bunch of people from Hartford Hospital that sought me out to record capacity demonstration crime. They're involved putting fake transcripts and databases, fake ties, and fake natures of ties to be based on their roles with and the names out next to the World Trade Center involved in the attack, where and how, including Saudi Arabia's identity was used through its own, and America's identity was used through our own, with locations, areas, and states, everywhere the human species